Good morning. Good morning from a sick house. I hope you're not unwell like I am, wherever you are in the world. Um, I wasn't sure if I was going to come live this morning because I've been sick all week, and so is my husband, who kindly brought the sickness into the house from work. So it's been a long time since I've been sick, and it's really knocked me about. But I've been really kind and gentle with myself, and I've forced myself to rest and do nothing. This is the first time I've been in this room since Tuesday, since I got sick. And so that's a lot for me to not work, because that's just my usual go-to. That's what I enjoy. So I thought it would be a good thing to talk about how being sick with an acute illness, because we all get colds, flus, that kind of thing, how it affects things like lipedema and thyroid disease and any other chronic illness that you might have. Now, I've got all my things with me because if I get a coughing fit, I may have to leave. But we'll see how we go. And I wrote a list because I can't rely on my brain right now. See, that's how I'm being kind to myself, is I'm not expecting myself to remember things. I'm not expecting to be able to pull this off, but we'll see. All right, so here's one of the biggest things that has happened for me this week, which was just a reminder of what happens when you get sick. And it's inflammation. So I had, if anyone remembers, a month or two back, a rotator cuff injury. It was pretty much gone. I had been going to the physio, having massages. I had acupuncture, all that kind of thing. And it was all but gone. I pretty much couldn't even feel it. And the thing with a rotator cuff injury, you notice it when you put your bra on. So something about that movement behind your back is what they go, oh, yeah, no, that's rotator cuff. And anyway, literally, I don't know, 2 days into being unwell, just sitting there, it was throbbing again. And I was just like, wow, that's the inflammation is just going to spark anything that's already weak in your body. So for me, my weakness is lipedema, so my lymphatics, my thyroid, so thyroid disease. It's going to automatically, it's not been a good week. I can tell you that for sure. So it's going to automatically spark whatever you've already got going on and make it worse. And unfortunately, to be kind to yourself, you need to rest, which I did a lot of. I was bored many times, many days. But I did a lot of resting, and that means you're not moving your lymphatics, right? So that can be problematic. So the only way you can kind of counteract that I figured out is by eating and drinking warm foods. Because warm foods will keep the lymphatics warm and fluid instead of getting hot. I know sometimes when you're sick, you crave certain things. Some people might crave cold foods, but try to stick to warm things, warm cups of tea. That was the other thing that I found, is that I immediately craved cups of tea, not coffee, which is, I don't drink a lot of tea because they naturally have occurring fluoride in them. So, but you've got to wonder if that's just a comfort thing, because I grew up in a family of tea drinkers and grandma tea drinker. So you've got to wonder if that's why you crave it. However, actually, my brain is a little bit working. I watched some videos this last week, pardon me, from a Dr. William Lee, and he's all over YouTube. If you haven't seen him, it's easy to find him. And it was a really long interview with Diary of a CEO, which I love that channel, Stephen Bartlett. And he goes kind of deep, which I love, the big, long interviews. And Dr. William Lee was talking about, this one was talking about cancer in particular. And that they did all these studies, and the people that either didn't get cancer or survived cancer or something like that. I'm sorry, my brain's not that switched on. Had a particular gut bacteria called Akkermansia. And you get Akkermansia by eating pomegranates. And I know when I went to the Ayurvedic hospital in India in 2018, pomegranate was served up every single day. So, which was really interesting. So pomegranates and Earl Grey tea, funnily enough, that is what I go to when I'm drinking tea, is Earl Grey tea. Matcha does it, and I can't think of what else it was. There was another couple of things. Oh no, it was a particular grape, and it must be an American grape because it was not one that I could even understand what he was saying. I think he was saying like Concord or something like that. But yeah, not familiar to me, so I'm not sure if that's what he was actually saying. So tea, why I'm reaching for tea, I don't know, comfort thing, or is it my body going, oh, we need to fight off the inflammation? I don't know. It's an interesting thing that comes about. But I do know that when we're sick, our inflammation is going to go through the roof. Okay, so it's really important that we're really kind with ourselves and do all the things that we think we can do to help ourselves from every angle. Now, yes, I've had to take painkillers for my shoulder because it was aching. It was just, that blew my mind, the fact that I automatically got that shoulder pain come back. It seems to have settled down now, and I haven't obviously been anywhere because I didn't want to go anywhere and give anybody anything. So it's settled down. And hopefully, once I'm better, I'll go back to acupuncture and that sort of thing, and it'll be fine. It'll just keep going. But the inflammation will flare up anything you've already got going on. And that's probably why we always feel aches and pains and that kinds of thing, right? So, okay, nourish and rest, warm foods and drinks. So if you can't move, then, my husband, he did really well, like around day, because he's 2 days ahead of me. He brought it home. He struggled through the last couple of days of work and then brought it home. And then the day after he started his days off, that was my turn. But he's been jumping on the rebounder. The thought of that is just killing me right now. So I haven't done that yet. But I have been laying on the couch with the windows open, lots of fresh air. We've been changing the pillowcases every day. So what else have we done? Hydrocell, Mum, Hydrocell has come out to play. If you don't know what this is like your best friend in acute situations. It is a mixture of ionic silver and oxygen. Okay, kids can't have it. It's too strong. But you can get it from healthwest.com.au. You can get it from some pharmacies. If you're overseas, I know they send all over the world. Now, the thing with this is it's ionic silver for a start, and ionic silver does not drop out of suspension. I know a lot of people go for colloidal silver. It drops out of suspension. If you don't believe me, get ionic silver, get colloidal silver, pour both into a jar, leave it on the bench. The colloidal silver, after a little amount of time, a couple of hours, you'll see dark dots in it, which is the silver dropping out of suspension, which can cause a silver buildup in your body. It's probably not terrible, but when ionic silver doesn't do that, why not just use ionic silver? And because this has oxygen in it, we all know, well, we don't all know, but most people that are in the know understand that disease can't live in an oxygenated body, right? That's why we all have to get out, get fresh air, breathe deep, that kind of thing, because the more oxygen you have, the less disease you have. So this comes out to play, and we always have it. I take it with me when we go overseas, when we go to Asia. It stops all kinds of parasites, bacteria, all that kind of thing. It pretty much keeps barley belly and all that sort of thing at bay. So yeah, I've been hitting 10 mils every few hours of this one. So the other things that I do is eucalyptus oil in the shower. I literally pour it onto the wall, and then I can't smell it at this point, so it's not too strong, and the hot water just does its thing to help me out. I also use this doTERRA On Guard, and I've got Easy Air as well. I don't know where that's gone. So On Guard's like, I think all the brands, Young Living, they all have, I think Young Living's one's called Thieves. They all have an antibacterial, antiviral, anti-whatever. And I get the rollerballs with this, and this is literally just, you can roll it on your throat. So I like it. Oh, I can smell it now. My smell's coming back. Actually, I could taste my breakfast this morning for the first time, so that was a good thing. But then I have the usual things like the Vicks Vapor Drops, and I try to have a soda every day. This is like Element. This is an electrolyte. This is salty pineapple. I really like this one. Now, because of the lipedema and salt, I don't have one of those every day usually, but I've been having one every day while I've been sick, because you just kind of need it. You don't eat much, you don't drink much. So from that perspective, I've been keeping up with that. And what else have I been doing? Oh, nothing. We just haven't been to the shops, so we're going on toilet paper for blowing the nose now. So that's such a normal thing for our houses, right? So that is it for me in respect of being sick, and how we need to be just so careful of our inflammation and taking extra care of ourselves. When you have a chronic disease, when you have an autoimmune disease, when you have other things going on, when you have an acute illness, you can't just keep on keeping on like you think, it'll all be good. You have to take extra care of yourself, because you just, it's going to exacerbate everything you've got going on. All right. Here's another thing. I've washed my hair, believe it or not. I haven't done anything with it. But even you're washing your hair, and that was something else I learned at the Ayurvedic hospital. Don't wet your hair. I washed it because I had to, and I dried it straight away. As soon as I got out, luckily I live in a hot environment. The bathroom was steaming hot. So I blow dried it immediately. I did not leave it wet in my head. But the Ayurvedic tradition is absolutely no wetting your hair when you're sick. So yeah, there's a lot of different things. If you've got more traditions or things that you've grown up with, share with me. I'm nearly there. I'm nearly there. I could go out probably, and I seem to be, even though I sound all stuffed up, now when I blow my nose, my ears are clearing and things are starting to get better. I do cough my lungs up at night still. I coughed so hard last night, I vomited. Lovely. So there's still stuff at play, but I'm almost there. And I think that it's just been because I've rested. I've done nothing. I've done all these things. I've just kept going. I've eaten, really plain foods when I wanted to eat, stuck with sort of mostly carnivore, and avocado. I had avocado. So that's pretty much what I've stuck with. And a thing that a lot of people do when they get sick is they have this thought process of having juice. And that can make you phlegmier. The high fructose content in juice can cause the phlegm to be worse and stay in the back of your throat. So if you're one of those people, that's the last thing I'd be having when you're sick, to be truly honest. Now, the other thing I wanted to talk about today, my list, because my brain's not switched on, is it's Lipedema Awareness Month, June. And it's the 1st of June here in Australia. If you're watching elsewhere, it might be not June yet. And I thought it would be interesting to share that it was discovered in 1940 at the Mayo Clinic by Doctors Allen and Hines. And they noticed women with symmetrical fat deposits that weren't responding to calorie restriction. So 1940, that's like 80 something years ago. Hello, Ella. Mulane and N-acetylcysteine, great for cough and congestion. I need to get some NAC, Ella. Thank you for saying that. And Mulane, interesting. I'm going to write that down. Thank you. I might have to order that. Mind you, as I said, I think it's been 3 years since I had like a full-blown flu. It's got to be at least that. So it's not something I normally have to deal with. So it's pretty rare. And that's why normally, actually, I also have the doTERRA has the cough drop version of these, which I swear by. When I went to the Ayurvedic hospital in India, when I came back, I got sick and they saved me in the flights coming back, those cough lollies. So I just, normally in the past, I've always kept them in the house, but I just don't seem to get sick these days. So I'm going to have to look into those. And NAC, I've been thinking about N-acetylcysteine. I've never had a go at using it for my liver health. So I'm going to order some of that. So thank you for putting that in front of me, because I think it's time that I had a go at it. And my liver needs a little bit of help after this week, because I have had to have painkillers, which I normally do not, which for anyone with thyroid disease, painkillers go down the same pathway in the liver as your thyroid medication. So that's another thing from when you're sick, knowing what your other issues are. So if this was to keep going and continue, say it turns into a flu that like is ongoing for a month or two, I would need to probably adjust my thyroid medication, because I would not be converting my thyroid hormone nearly as well as I normally would be. So it's really important to, when you do get sick, is to have an arsenal of things that you swear by. And I'm going to look into those. Thank you, Ella. I appreciate that. Because even with going overseas, what things am I going to take with me? I know definitely taking the hydrocell. I definitely will take little rolly balls. Eucalyptus I'll be able to get anywhere. And I am already ordering the sodies to take with me in that respect. So, yeah. But anyway, back to, this was discovered, lipedema, in 1940. And it takes an average, so I looked up a few like stats about it. It takes an average of 10 to 15 years for a diagnosis. So I'm going to assume that's 10 to 15 years after somebody becomes aware of it in their body. That's what I'm going to guess. So, yeah. So that's not 80 years, 1940, 60. Oh, yeah, it is. It's 85 years since it was first discovered. And it's funny, people think it's rare. It's not rare. It's just rarely diagnosed is the problem. So a lot of the stats out there, 11% of women have it. I have to wonder if those stats are on the people that are already diagnosed, not on everybody that's out there that thinks they have it. It's like there's a stat for thyroid disease that there's 800,000 million people in the world with thyroid disease, but there's so many more that have not been diagnosed. It's very unfortunate many years later, doctors are not even interested in learning. At a recent visit to my cardiologist, I encouraged her to keep symptoms of lipedema on her radar, but unfortunately, I felt she was not interested. I find this so fascinating, Ella. It's even with the cholesterol thing. And my doctor, my family doctor, who I don't really see anymore, she's down in Perth anyway, but she was the one that diagnosed my thyroid disease because she had thyroid disease. So many doctors are stuck in the old teachings, and science is going so rapidly. And I know as a naturopath, I have to do a certain amount of study per year and log it with my governing body to show that I'm keeping up with the research. So I'm going to assume that doctors have to do the same thing, and they just don't seem to. And that's just fascinating to me. Like, it's funny, we've found 2 doctors up here now. Actually, no, 1 doctor who is onto it with the cholesterol and understands that it's the triglycerides that cause the problem and not the LDL cholesterol. But he wasn't there on my last visit with the rotator cuff injury. And so I had this young doctor, and he also said to me, oh, let's check your cholesterol again because it was high. We may have to get you on a statin. And I'm just like, wow, are you guys not doing the research anymore, or is this still being taught? The places I've learned about LDL cholesterol and all that kind of thing, let alone lipedema, are from the very top, people in their field. Are they not teaching the other people in their field about lipedema, about cholesterol, about all these things that and even all the ADHD and all of that kind of thing? There just seems to be this big gap of people sticking or holding on to the old information at all costs. And yeah, it doesn't matter, like spreading awareness. Push the statins. I always go, if they're going to push something, take the script. Just don't fill the script, right? That's kind of the easiest way to shut down the conversation if they just don't stop, or if you can find another doctor, because it just gets a little bit monotonous sometimes, And I've said to my husband before, one of his last referrals a year or 2 ago, he had a lipoma cut out of his back, and the referral now, but referrals didn't used to, maybe they did and I've never noticed, but every medication she has ever prescribed for him was written on that referral. Like, even if he does not take it anymore or took it once, and it was kind of like this, look how many things I've prescribed for him. That was the feeling I got from it, was this really strange hit list of, oh, look at all. And I'm like, you don't even, he takes one thing of all these things. He takes one. But there was a list of 10. And I just found that just fascinating, that in this day and age, with all the things, if we can learn these things and we're not doctors, how is it that they're not learning it? How is it that with their yearly updates of learning the latest research, how are they not learning it and implementing it? I've never been a political person with big pharma and all that sort of stuff, but you've got to wonder. It's just crazy. No. And so, with my, with this being first noticed in women in 1940, how are we still in this space? How are we still, having to explain to our doctors what this is? It's just, the mind boggles, but that's what Lipedema Awareness Month is all about. And I am going to do my best to contribute to the conversation in the ways that I know how. And that's all we can do, right? Is we can keep putting our information in front of our doctors, and we can keep bringing it up and saying to take our blood pressure down here instead of up here. We've just got to keep talking about it. We need to get the awareness out there. And it's one of the reasons that I talk predominantly on this channel now about lipedema, because thyroid school, I've got that anyway. But that is my biggest journey now, is that's going to be the thing that I battle harder against, because of the inflammation, because it's easy to get out of control, because of hormones, all that kind of thing. That's going to be the thing. And this channel's about my journey. So that's going to be the thing I battle hardest against for the rest of my life, and anyone else with lipedema will. So, and it's funny because I still see women who are, wow, they're so progressed. They're lipolymphedema now, and they're stage 4, and they're barely walking, and they're leaning on trolleys. And I want to tap them on the shoulder and say, are you aware? Do you know? But it's just that it's not the kind of thing you can just run up to somebody in the shops and say, right? So hopefully it gets to a point that it's just a really obvious thing for people to know about, cuffing of the ankles, symmetrical. Oh yeah, no, look, your bad knees, lipedema. Oh, you've got the upper arm fat, lipedema. Hopefully we get to that point where even people who don't have lipedema see other people with it and go, oh, look, that poor lady's got lipedema. We just need that awareness out there. So I'm really happy that it's Lipedema Awareness Month. And when I'm feeling better, hopefully in the next week or so, once I start moving, because, everything's got to go through your lymphatics and your liver. I have upped my coffee enemas to twice a day, which I always do when I'm sick or recovering or doing something like that, to help my liver process both the painkillers that I had to take for my shoulder and the illness. But moving's going to make a big difference. So I need to get out and get moving, which my husband will be happy to hear, because I'm sure he's ready to get out and get moving as well. Right. Well, that's it for me today. I'm really glad I didn't have a coughing fit, but that seems to be mostly just nights now, which yay me. I hope you're all well wherever you are in the world. Ella, thank you for letting me know about those information. Mum, thank you. I will work on my health and I will see you all next week. Bye.